what I'd like to do tonight is I'd like to take you through a little bit of just the evaluation process that Summer and I went through. And what's interesting about that message that I left, Michael, is at that time, I really wasn't sure yet what my involvement was going to be. We were very early on in this process, and I just wanted to get the opinion of some people that I trusted and respected. And I dropped that message in Michael's inbox and a few others as well, and the rest is history. And what I can tell you now that has changed is that we are 100% all in. I mean, burn the bridges of retreat. We are 100% on board with Uforia. And I'm going to give all of you, this is my disclaimer for those of you that are seeing this presentation for the first time. This will do a permanent case of insomnia. If you truly take the time to look at what it is that we are doing here, I think that you will be very impressed. How my wife and I heard about this opportunity, we actually heard about it. Summer is friends with Ron Williams, the CEO of Uforia. And Ron's wife reached out to Summer on Facebook, and they're friends, and just dropped a little video in her inbox that I'm going to play for you in just a moment. And it caught my wife's attention, and it caught it for a couple of reasons. My wife is very into a holistic approach to taking care of our family. Natural approach in the way that we eat, raw veggies as much as possible, organic. We juice several times a day. And so when this video played for her and she watched it, she was like, I want more information. So she went out on the internet and she started looking around trying to find the website, and there was nothing out there. So then she went on to YouTube and she found this video of Ron Williams and Eric Worre. For those of you that don't know who Eric is, maybe you're not in the network marketing industry, but he's kind of the Jim Rohn of this industry. Builds coliseums around the world, kind of the grandfather, if you will, of network marketing. And Ron and Eric were together at Eric's house introducing and announcing this company, Uforia. And it really caught her attention. And so she sat me down and we watched the video together. We always do everything together. She's not on the presentation here tonight, but she is my business partner. And so we watched it together, and it really caught my attention. The concept of DNA nutrition versus blind nutrition was extremely appealing to me. And so we hopped on a plane and we went out and sat down and met Ron Williams, and we spent the entire day with him going through this whole process. And we were pleasantly surprised, Ron Williams, for those of you that don't know, it's brought some of the most prolific products to the network marketing industry. His background goes all the way back to 2 decades ago. He was a senior executive at Nu Skin. He then went over as the CEO of Young Living Essential Oils and pioneered the essential oils movement in the network marketing industry, and then started a company that he was at called Forever Green for 17 years. And he is just dynamic, brilliant when it comes to marketing and branding. Anybody that's seen our websites, our messaging, our branding, Ron Williams, he's amazing, and he's got an amazing team behind him. And so for me, I join people first and company second. I joined people first and company second. And Ron Williams was definitely someone that I wanted to partner with. When I heard that LaCour Enterprises was also involved, LaCour, if there's a LeBron James when it comes to back-end logistics, it's Terry LaCour. And, for me, I've been around the industry long enough, both on the distributor side as well as over on the corporate side and consulting hat. One thing that I've learned is that companies don't fail because of good ideas. There's no shortage of good ideas in network marketing. It's because of the logistics. And when you have LaCour Enterprises behind you, you really get the best of both worlds. You get the excitement of something new that's just hitting the market, but you also get the stability and infrastructure of something that's been around for a long time. And then finally, when we look at the training, you show me a company with good training and I'll show you a great company. We went out and got the best. Eric Worre, Network Marketing Pro. This is the disclaimer. Eric is not a distributor here. He is still, serving the entire industry as a whole, but Network Marketing Pro, and more specifically, Eric has agreed to come on board with this company in a capacity that he's never done before to head up all of the training for this company. He will be at all of our events. And for me, that really spoke to the quality of this group of people that was putting this company together. I was able to check that off of my list. As I started looking at the products and started looking more specifically at DNA nutrition, for me, when I look at an opportunity, I don't want to be the next meat company. I don't want to be the 5th weight loss company to launch this year. I don't want to be the 10th CBD oil company to launch this year. Great companies, great products out there. But you know what? For me, I wanted to be the one and only. There's a book that I'm fond of called Blue Ocean Strategy. Some of you might be familiar with. And in this book, they describe 2 different market conditions. The first is what they describe as a red ocean, which is a fiercely competitive market. Everyone is fighting over the same market share. The author describes it as bloody, murky waters, or otherwise known as a red ocean. And then you have a blue ocean, which is there is no competition because you've completely changed the game. And that's exactly why I have a blue ocean behind me, you guys, because we are a blue ocean. There's nobody else out there that is doing anything like what we are doing. We are the one and only, and that is where I want to be. And I enjoy bringing a product to market. I enjoy being a pioneer. You know, Mike was big into getting everybody to raise their hands. How many of you like to be first? How many of you like to be a pioneer? Let me tell you guys something. It's the pioneers that they write about in the history books. And that is why I'm so excited to be here, and the fact that hardly anyone knows about this opportunity. Getting a little bit of feedback, so if you don't mind, if you could mute out your lines, if you're not muted out, I definitely would appreciate it. So for my wife and I, we made the decision after going out there, we came home, and ultimately we thought, well, maybe this is something that Summer will do. Then we thought about, well, maybe this is something that we could do on the side. And ultimately we made the decision that we were going all in, and that was about 21 days ago. And we already have hundreds of people all over the country here in the United States. Canada's coming on strong. Go Canada. And guys, we're just getting started. Like, it's the very, very beginning. Our first event is in Dallas, Texas, coming up here. So what I'd like to do very quickly, and then what we're going to do is jump into the top 10 reasons why I believe that this will be the biggest story of 2018, is I'd like to share with you the video that that was shared with my wife that really captured her attention, so that you guys can get an idea of what this opportunity is all about.
Makes you unique. You have one genetic code, only one body. You don't need everybody's nutritional supplements. You can have your own. Cut your losses and move on. The days of blind nutrition are over. Your DNA knows exactly what you need, and Uforia delivers it. Welcome to your very own designer nutrition. We're all potentially susceptible to certain physical ailments based on variations in our genes passed down from our parents. These genetic variations are called SNPs, single nucleotide polymorphisms. We aren't able to eliminate SNPs from our DNA, but we can do something about them. We can take action to optimize our physical health. It begins with a simple DNA test. Swab the inside of your cheek and mail your sample to Uforia's state-of-the-art laboratory partner for analysis. Strict guidelines are always followed, so your information remains confidential and secure. Based on your DNA results, a one-of-a-kind nutritional formula is created just for you. This is your very own nutrition, designed from peer-reviewed plant-based ingredients plus vitamins and minerals. So many high-quality ingredients and so many of us. Every formula is truly unique. Each custom formula is one out of nearly 400 million possible combinations. And while your nutrition is being customized, you can immediately begin to make your health a habit. Every Uforia starter kit not only comes with a DNA test, it also includes a pre-nutrition formula. This is a mild and gentle cleanse. It also supports the body's preparation for the optimal Uforia experience. The pre-nutrition formula contains a robust combination of quality active ingredients, including AC11, frankincense, and astaxanthin. Pre-nutrition gives your body a fresh start. You'll be prepared when your customized nutrition arrives, which takes approximately 2 to 4 weeks delivered right to your door. You'll receive a 30-day supply of your customized formula, along with a detailed action plan that explains what you need to know about your SNPs. Staying on track to meet your nutritional needs for the rest of your life has never been easier. You can receive your customized designer nutrition delivered to your door every month, all for less than the cost of buying the nutritional ingredients separately. Finally, everyone's unique biology meets one-of-a-kind technology. Your DNA is talking, and Uforia gives your body a voice.
So that video was enough to grab our attention, and enough for us to say, you know what, we want to be a part of this story. What I'd love to do now is I'd love to go over just a couple of things with you that really make this unique and make this opportunity special. And it's the reason why we have close to 80 people on this presentation.
Hey everybody, it's John with Uforia. And this is a quick video that explains the process of your YouStart.
There we go. All right, so let's go ahead and jump right into this. So first of all, the first reason, let me clear this screen just a little bit. I've got a lot going on here. All right, so the first thing that I love about this company is that it is exclusive and proprietary. There are a lot of DNA tests that are out there, and I want to be very, very clear about how we differ from what's out there in the marketplace. So there's really two buckets that are out there right now. The first bucket is a lot of companies will test your DNA. In many cases, they'll test 1 or 2 strands of your DNA. Not all of them, but most of them typically test a few strands so that they can say that they tested your SNPs or your DNA. And then what they do from there is they'll recommend a fitness plan, or they'll recommend a meal plan. They'll tell you that you need to eat maybe more Mediterranean based on your DNA, those type of things. So they'll give you an idea of what you should be eating. The second bucket are those that test your DNA, and then what they'll do is they'll sell you blind nutrition. They sell you supplementation. The question that you have to ask yourself at the end of the day is, when were those supplements packaged? Were they packaged before or after the DNA test? Everything that's out there today was packaged long before that DNA test. And for that reason, you find yourself in the same blind nutrition situation where you're taking the same supplements that I might be taking, that a number of us. Does it make sense to you? We're all different. We're all unique. We're all special. There's never been anybody like you before you, never been anybody like you now, and there'll never be anybody like you again. Does it make sense to you that we're all taking the exact same amount, recommended daily allowance of vitamins and nutrients and minerals? It doesn't make sense. And I believe that our children one day will say, I can't believe that you guys all used to take the same nutrition. So how do we differ? We're the only company that's out there that has the ability, the software, the technology, the capability to be able to not only read your DNA, but then ultimately be able to customize a formulation that is specific and unique to you called nutrition. We've got a world-class lab. It's both HIPAA compliant and CLIA certified. A lot of people say, well, I don't want my DNA getting out there. I mean, what are they going to do? They're going to sell it. They might share it. And you know what? This is big news right now. 23andMe just went out and sold a lot of their data out there to the public. So that's a real concern. So what HIPAA compliant means is that we don't share your information. In fact, within 60 days, we completely get rid of your information. And the only thing that represents you is a barcode inside internally. And we never share that information. And CLIA certified simply means the highest quality. It is the highest certification that a lab can have. And by the way, we own that lab. We have an amazing, specialized, scientific team. You're actually going to hear from one of our soon-to-be new field advisory members tonight, doctors, that is just absolutely outstanding. I can tell you that there is decades of research that has gone into this software, and not just decades into the software, but we've tested this on close to 40,000 people for years before we introduced this here at Uforia. We have an intellectual software program 20 years in the making. Scientists, doctors have been researching these different DNA SNPs and variants within these SNPs, ultimately to be able to make a determination of what type of nutrition is needed to be able to fill the gaps. And that is what is so exciting. The idea or theory is that there is over 400 million possible combinations. No two are the same, and yours is one of them. Anybody ever been in a network marketing company before where you go over to Amazon and you see your product being sold all over Amazon? Well, I don't know why you guys would want to buy my own customized nutrition based on my own DNA. So you're not going to have that problem here. What I'd love to do is I'd love to introduce you to someone very special. Dr. Brett Hawes is on the line tonight, and I've asked Brett to join us because he is a functional medicine practitioner and a nutritionist with 15 years of a clinical experience. He's the lead faculty at one of North America's top nutritional schools. So I think he knows a little bit about this space. He hosts a holistic health masterclass podcast, and he's widely recognized as an expert in nature's medicine. So I couldn't think of anybody more perfect to come on the line and explain to you the difference between blind nutrition and designer nutrition. Brett, are you on the line?
I am indeed. Awesome, Travis. Thanks so much. And how incredible to see 80 people, almost 80 people on the line tonight. We're just at the gate 15 days in, and here we are, So, I think before I hop into the nitty gritty here, I just want to echo a lot of what Travis has said and a lot of what Michael has said. This is, for me, 10 years ago, I remember standing in a classroom and saying, there's going to come a time when we're going to be basing our nutrition on DNA, and that time is right now. Like, it's happening. I mean, there's companies that are just exploding all over the place that are doing it, and I say doing it in inverted commas because I'll just sort of give you a little bit of an overview. Like, I started running genetic tests in my practice about 2.5, 3 years ago, and I ran these tests for immune profiles, for cardiovascular profiles, for all sorts of stuff. And when I'd get these tests back, you would see these SNPs, and I'll explain what SNPs are in just a second, but I would get these genetic variants that would come back, and this variant would say do this, and then the next variant would say do the complete opposite. So I still found myself, even though I was doing this genetic testing, I still found myself in this blind spot. And as popular as this has become, my clients would bring me more and more and more genetic testing and ask me to interpret it. And I actually stopped doing it because I was like, I actually don't know what to do anymore. I don't know how to interpret this anymore, because there were just so many confounding variables. So I think, the questions that I've been fielding the most over the last week, 10 days or so, when we talk about blind nutrition versus designer nutrition, there's two conversations that are going on. DNA does not test nutrient levels, all right? So that's really, really important to establish right out the gate. We're not checking for the amount of nutrients that are in your body. What we're looking for with this technology and the software, we're looking at how your DNA affects your overall well-being and your overall body metabolism. And then once we've identified that, we can actually create a unique formula that's based on your DNA versus on what your nutrition is, if you will. So why is that important? Because you can go to any functional medicine doctor, to nutritionist. You can actually get yourself tested, and you can see exactly what your nutrient status is. And so for a lot of people, if you even go to those links, you know what you're deficient in, but you don't know what your DNA requires. And that's a totally different conversation altogether. So what Uforia is doing is we're basically saying, what are your genetic predispositions? What are your genetic glitches? And what do you need from a nutritional standpoint to support that? And maybe we'll get into that a little bit more in a second, but this is foundational support. And the way I like to explain this is the ultimate multivitamin that you could possibly ask for based on your unique genetic makeup. And that's a very, very, I'm going to drive this point home here, because we're not evaluating nutritional status. If you got two people that in a hypothetical world that had the same SNPs and the same genetic variants, and one person was eating McDonald's and KFC and smoking a pack of cigarettes, and the next person was eating sprouted quinoa and kale and juicing and whatnot, of course, the nutritional status is going to be completely different. So what we're doing here is really taking things to a whole nother level and offering DNA nutrition from a foundational level. So what does this really mean at the end of it all? And again, these are questions that, please cut me off, Travis. You know me, I can speak for a really long time. So cut me off when it's time to shut up, okay?
We love hearing from you. And this is our first inaugural event. So we'll go a little bit longer on this first session tonight. And I think everybody wants to hear this information. So keep coming.
Good.
Keep coming. We appreciate it.
Cool. So, when you talk about genes, I think there's a couple of things from a foundational perspective that are important to understand, right? The first thing is, what do genes actually do? And when most people think of genes, we think of the color of my eyes, the color of my hair, how tall I am, the color of my skin, and so on. But when you get a little bit deeper, genes control enzymes in your body, and enzymes control reactions. And so if our genes are not working properly, those enzymes are not working properly, and those reactions are not working properly. So I might not be able to synthesize my brain chemicals properly. I might have problems with cholesterol. I might have problems with detoxification. And so what we're doing here with this type of nutrition is we're saying, I want to identify what those genetic glitches are and what those genetic weaknesses are, and then I want to bypass them with nutrition and nutrients. Right? So that's really key, because we can't change genes either. Your genes are your genes, but we can alter the way that they express themselves. And that's really, really important. This is a field called epigenetics, right? So epigenetics, meaning external factors that control my genetics. We know that diets, eating organic, doing yoga, meditation, cleaning up my home environment and whatnot, we know that alters genetic expression. But what Uforia is doing is just taking that to a whole nother level, where we're really dialing in and fine-tuning things based on your unique genetic code. Okay, so that's really what we're doing here. And Travis, if you can just throw up that slide. I don't know if you have it up, but I can see you right now, and you look amazing in front of the wave, just by the way. But so what you see here, and this is another important thing, when you talk about SNPs, right, SNPs stand for single nucleotide polymorphisms, which is a real fancy word for genetic malfunctions or genetic variants or genetic glitches, right? And SNPs on their own can be fairly benign, and SNPs can be very, very severe depending on what type of SNP we're talking about. Now, a lot of labs out there, when we do genetic testing, you know, you'll get to labs, I won't mention any names here, but you'll go and run a genetic test and they'll say, we have 10 times more data than anyone else, right? We're testing for 1,500 or 20,000 SNPs. But here's the reality of the situation. Out of a possible 2 million SNPs that can be tested, we suspect, and I say suspect because it's a total guess at this point, even the experts that I've interviewed have said we don't really know, but maybe 5,000 of those actually have any kind of clinical relevance, maybe. And out of that 5,000, very few of them have actually been studied. So the labs that are testing all of these SNPs, they're actually testing for things that are completely irrelevant. Like we have no data, we have no science to prove that they do anything or how to rectify them if you even have them. So what Uforia has done is they've taken 18 SNPs that have a lot of clinical data. They have a lot of research behind them. We know, for example, that ApoB affects cholesterol. Like that's well established in the research. We know that MTHFR, MTRR, we know that these genes affect things like methylation, detoxification, homocysteine, and so on. We know that TNF-alpha is involved with inflammation and VDR with vitamin D. So what I'm getting at here is we're not throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping something sticks. We're actually taking SNPs that have very, very good concrete data behind them, and we're basing this on now 10 years. So the software has taken 20 years. But doctors that I'm involved with and that I consult with, we've been using this technology for 10 years in a clinical setting and really taken this on a trial run, if you will. And Travis, you said 40,000 earlier, and I'm just going to correct you there in the most polite way I can. It's actually 50,000. So 50,000 people over a collective period of 400,000 months. So I don't even know what the math is on that, but right. That's a long time. All right, it's a really long time. Yeah.
Right. I tried to tell Travis that too, but he didn't listen to me because I don't have your background. So I'm glad you corrected him. I mean, Travis, what a serious underestimation there, 40,000. Give me a break. It's 50,000.
40, 50. I mean, come on. It's neither here nor there, right? But regardless, what we're saying here is we're saying that, you know, when I first looked at this, I said to myself, you know, is this going to be the next product and test that's just going to try and catch everything in the wide net? And when I looked at 18 SNPs and I looked at what they were, I was like, these guys know what they're doing. And we're also not trying to throw 10,000 ingredients at it, right? We've got 100 peer-reviewed ingredients paired with 18 SNPs that have concrete data. And that together, you know, Uforia is the only company, I can tell you with absolute certainty, there is no other company out there that is able to reconcile 18 SNPs with many variations together with 100 peer-reviewed ingredients. No other company does that. The biggest frustration for me working with genetic testing in practice was the simple fact that I would get these results back and I would look at them and go, I don't know what to do. You know, one SNP says take B6, B12, take zinc. The next SNP says avoid B12, B6, and zinc. And you sit there scratching your head. And I mean, you can imagine someone bringing back a 25-page PDF with all of these recommendations, and you just sit there scratching your head. So I'm very, very excited about Uforia and what's happening here, because this is the way forward. I can tell you with absolute certainty, there is no company that's able to reconcile this. And something that I'm really gung-ho on here with Uforia, with Travis, with Ron, is I really want to work on the dietary side of things, because that's an area that is, we're just not there in the research yet. You know, people don't know what to do. And I would love to further that so that we can actually match nutrition with lifestyle, with nutrition, and that customized formula. I think that's the trifecta for me that is really just going to see us right into the sunset with uber personalized medicine. So hopefully that's a good overview there, Travis.
No, it was perfect. And you know what's also exciting to me, Brett, is that if something new were to come along, let's say that there was another SNP that was identified. I mean, my understanding is that originally when we started testing, wasn't it 12 SNPs, and we've already.
That's right. Yeah.
So we can continue to expand on this as we move forward. Is that correct?
That's right. So, I mean, people ask me all the time, like, do I need to get retested? And that's a good question, because your DNA ultimately doesn't change. I mean, you can get tested today, you can get tested in 10 years' time, and your SNPs will be the same. But the expression of your genes and the way that you physically feel is going to change. But what's exciting is that we're starting small with 12. We scaled up to 18. And as we move on and do more research and get more concrete data, that data set and that chip that we're testing might be 20 SNPs, might be 100 SNPs in the future. And really, the sky's the limit. I mean, we're on the front edge here, so we have no one to look at in that sense. And that's what's exciting for me is we're venturing out into the unknown with solid data behind us.
Outstanding. Thank you so much, Brett. We appreciate you. Look forward to hearing more from you in the future. And guys, we're going to get Brett on and just do some specific product-based calls where we just really continue to dive into all of this. And we're very fortunate to have you on the team, Brett. So thank you very much for being here.
Awesome. Thank you, Travis. I appreciate it.
So one of the challenges with this particular product was scalability. And what's neat is LaCour Enterprises has built the only machine in the world. We call it the Utritionator. Some people call it Eugene. It's arrived in Dallas, Texas at the lab. By the way, LaCour Enterprises, we have our first event there coming up on November 10th and 11th. I can tell you guys, somebody once said to me, man, you got to see this place. It's the size of a football field. And it's not. It's the size of about 3 football fields. We actually, Summer and I got lost when we were walking around in there. It's unbelievable. And again, to know that we have them in our corner is amazing. And they built the only machine in the world that has the ability to be able to produce 3,700 formulations every 7 hours. And as soon as that first one hit, the second one went into production as well. So these machines cost millions of dollars. And I asked Terry, I said, how long would it take to somebody to even try and duplicate what you've done? And he says, well, it took us 3 years to get to this point. So somebody even did it in half the time. Which would require a tremendous amount of money and infrastructure, knowledge. It would still take them, it would take them 18 months even at that point. So to say that we're the only game in town is definitely an understatement. And finally, from a timing standpoint, I believe that timing is everything in business. And I love the opportunity of being able to create. I definitely am I love to be on the forefront of something amazing. I believe that there's tremendous opportunity if you can position yourself in the beginning stages of a company that has all of the signs of becoming one of the next giants in the industry. And the fact that we are here in a pre-launch 21 days into this thing, our first event is November 10th and 11th, and we officially kick off on January 11th and 12th in Las Vegas, gives each and every one of you a unique opportunity. And what I've learned is the windows of opportunity in this industry don't open very often. They don't stay open very long. And ladies and gentlemen, right now, they are wide open. And finally, when we talk about culture, culture is important. To me, it's the glue. There's a saying that I'm fond of: when culture and community align, that's when momentum occurs. What I love, and I asked Ron a very important question, and I want all of you to really hear this, because this is something that was one of the tipping points in Summer and I making the decision to come on board here. When I met with Ron, I said, why haven't we heard about this? Typically, when a company of this magnitude with these type of people involved launches, by the time that it launches, you've heard whispers, you've heard rumblings for months and months. And I thought it was interesting that we heard about this from a video that was loaded to Facebook. Summer found it. It had only been on YouTube. It had only been on YouTube for 36 hours. There was only 24 views when she found it. So I asked him about that. He says, Travis, in network marketing over the years, there's been every company tends to launch the same way. They go out and get a master distributor, and then they'll go out and get, in some cases, hired guns or a lot of top leaders that'll come in, and then they'll go get their generals in. And usually by the time that a company pre-launches, there's already thousands of people that are in the deal. And the opportunity is not the same for the people that are coming in. And he said, we didn't want to create that pecking order. We didn't want to create that type of culture here. We wanted the culture to be created by everybody, and we wanted an even playing field. So they've been working on the messaging and the branding and all of these things for about 14 months. In fact, one of the things that I've said to Ron is, are you sure you haven't been open for 2 years and we just don't know about it? Because the quality of our videos, the quality of our marketing resource sites, they don't represent a company that is just in a traditional startup phase. And here's what he said. He said, Travis, we put together very intentionally the right messaging and the right language. And we believed that when we started to put this out there, that it would attract the right people to the cause. And so we flipped the switch one day and we just loaded the video to YouTube. And it just so happens that my wife came across that video 36 hours later. Guys, it gives me the chills to even say that, because it's very untraditional in this industry to see something like that. And I think that's very indicative of the culture here. If you've watched any of our presentations, the word that's been used over and over, I've talked to hundreds of people on calls over the last week or two, and everybody says the same word, organic. It has a very organic feel. We're proud of that, and we want to protect that. We believe that our culture, the values that we lead with, are going to not only attract the right people, but also act as a barrier to push out the wrong people that we don't want in this company as well. And I can tell you with certainty that this will be a product-based culture, a product-driven company, not a company that is built on hype, not a company that is built on big fancy checks. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's people that are here. We want to make money, and there's going to be people making money here, but we're not going to lead with that. I believe that when you have a product that evokes a positive emotional experience, you don't need the hype. You don't need anything else, because it will just take care of itself. And we will have a customer-driven model here. So that's something that I'm very proud of. And, as we wrap up tonight, what I'd like to do is share a video that I think perfectly represents the culture of this company and what we stand for, what we're all about. Very short video, so if you'll just stick with me here as we wrap this up. And I'd like to know, in fact, before I play this video, I'm going to ask everyone, if you wouldn't mind, in the chat box, when it's done, I would like you to type one word that describes how this video makes you feel when you're done watching it.
Modern technology wasn't so modern when it gave us the first images of snowflakes. For the first time, we saw the beauty of nature's creation, and the secret was revealed. No matter how many times we look, no matter how many snowflakes we see, when the same atoms, the same molecules that give us so much frozen white wonder come together, no two snowflakes are exactly the same. Each snowflake created by random design of Mother Nature's chance. Each one created by divine choice. Just like all of us, made up of the same elements, the same molecules, yet each one uniquely different. You and the snowflake, unique by chance, divine by choice.
That's Uforia, guys. That's what we're all about. And I'd love to know how that video makes you feel, because to me, that represents the culture of this company. In closing, I want to just share this with you. I want all of you to know that you are special. I want all of you to know that you are unique, and that the universe is a much better place for having you in it. And that's really what this company, Uforia and Nutrition, is all about. One of a kind, divine, purposeful, unique, special, inspired. Guys, that's who we are. That's what we're about. And we invite you to come join us and share this message with the world. So once again, I want to say thank you to our host, Mr. Zappia, tonight, for kicking things off for us. And again, Dr. Hawes, for being here. Brett, we couldn't thank you enough for being on tonight's presentation. And for the team, just know that we'll start doing these. Look for a team schedule to come out, and we'll start seeing a couple of these calls a week happening to support the group. With that, I want to say thank you so much for being here this evening. I'm going to leave the chat on for just a minute. Hopefully you guys are feeling the vibrations and the buzz a little bit too tonight. And I'll let you guys type into the chat box and keep the conversation going. Mr. Zappia, any final words?
Travis, great job. Very rarely for a loss of words, but the one thing, once again, that you guys are feeling right now and you're experiencing right now is not only a one-of-a-kind company, not only a one-of-a-kind product, a blue ocean, like Travis says. I bought the book Blue Ocean Strategy. I'm going to be reading it now because of that referral. But you're talking about a one-of-a-kind gathering of the right people to lead the way with this charge. And the one thing I know Travis wants to be very careful of, and I know I do, and I know all of you who are on this right now are all leaders. We just want to make sure that we do this the right way and we help people. You know, this is so much bigger than just nutrition. It's so much bigger than just a financial opportunity. It really is about helping people and changing people's lives, and that's what's great about this industry. So you become more to somebody than just a business partner. You become a friend, you become a family member, and if you do this the right way, you're not just there for their business needs, you're there for them at 2 o'clock in the morning when they call you because they're down and out, and they call you and they need a shoulder to cry on. That's what a real leader does. Travis, I said this to Mike D, who is just doing unbelievable. Mike Devers, you guys are all going to meet him shortly. But I said, Mike, you're not in my business, I'm in your business. Put me to work for you. That's the partner that I would want, and that's the partner I want you to be for other people. So this is going to be a very unselfish movement with nobody that cares who gets the credit. To me, team stands for together, everyone achieves more. And it's a beautiful thing when no one person cares who gets the credit. And that's Travis Flaherty in a nutshell. That's his wife, Summer. That's me. And that's why we're attracting all of you, because like attracts like. So Travis, thank you for organizing this. Great leadership, brother.
Thanks, guys.